So today we're going over the 6 key movements that every exercise program needs. And I mean every program. Doesn't matter if you're training a professional athlete, someone in their 90s, or yourself. These 6 movements are the foundation. When you're designing a workout program, the goal is to make sure all the major muscle groups are being targeted. And while every muscle in your body matters, the larger muscle groups are especially important. This is because working bigger muscles builds the most muscle mass and develops the most strength. These 6 movements make sure none of those big muscles get left out. So the 6 movements are a squat, a hip hinge, a vertical press, a horizontal press, a vertical pull, and a horizontal pull. Every program you design should have all 6. The only time you'd leave one out is if someone has an injury or medical condition that makes it unsafe to perform one of these movements. Otherwise, all 6 should be in there. The first movement is the squat. A squat is defined as any movement involving hip and knee flexion and extension, where most of the movement occurs at the knee joint and the torso stays upright. Squats primarily target the quads and glutes. Some examples include back squats, front squats, leg press, split squats, goblet squats, hack squats, and sit to stands, just to name a few. Next is the hip hinge. A hip hinge is any movement where hip and knee flexion and extension occur. However, this time, most of the action happens at the hip joint and the torso is angled more downward. Hip hinge movements primarily work the glutes, hamstrings, and postural muscles. Some examples include Romanian deadlifts, also known as RDLs, lower back extensions, and good mornings. Third is the vertical press. Any movement where you're pressing vertically in relation to your body falls into this category. These primarily work the shoulders and triceps. Examples include military press, shoulder press, dips, and landmine press. Fourth is the vertical pull. Any movement where you're pulling vertically in relation to your body. These primarily work the lats and biceps. Examples include lat pull-downs, chin-ups, and pull-ups. Fifth is the horizontal press. Any movement where you're pushing horizontally in relation to your body falls into this category. These primarily work the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Some examples include barbell bench press, dumbbell bench press, and chest press machine. And lastly, the horizontal pull. Any movement where you're pulling horizontally in relation to your body. This one works the lats, biceps, mid-trapezius, rhomboids, and posterior deltoids. That's basically everything across your upper and mid back. Some examples include barbell rows, cable rows, machine rows, chest-supported rows, and inverted rows. Now, the specific variation of each movement should always be chosen based on how safely the person can perform it, their health history, and their goals. And you can see both examples right here on screen. On the left, if you're training a power lifter, barbell back squats make perfect sense to have as their squat movement because it's the exact variation used in competition. So we want them to get as good at that specific squat variation as they can get. On the right, if you're working with someone who has chronic lower back pain, a Bulgarian split squat is the smarter choice. The load is held at the sides rather than across the upper back, which takes stress off the lower back. Because both exercises are both squatting movements, they'll both work the same muscles, but the variation given to each client is most appropriate for when taking their goals and health considerations into account. One more quick thing, your abs actually get worked in most variations of all 6 of these movements. Your abs' primary job is to keep your body stable when lifting. So your abs will be worked while doing these 6 movements. To maximize ab involvement during these exercises, do standing and free weight variations whenever possible. That said, it's still a good idea to throw in a few dedicated ab exercises on top of that when designing a program. So to wrap up, squat, hip hinge, vertical press, vertical pull, horizontal press, and horizontal pull. These 6 movements are the foundation of any well-designed exercise program. Start with these, make sure all 6 are covered, and then add accessory exercises on top to target smaller muscle groups or address weak areas. Build your program around these 6 and you really can't go wrong. Thanks for watching.